is how'd I get here? Did I fuck this over when I got here? I don't got this. I'm contemplating how'd I get here. Wondering just how'd I get here? Did I fuck this over when I got here? I don't got this. This life I live is only makes me wanna be lonely. I heard it from a homie, it's on me, so show me. You tryna get to know me. This fairy tale of mine, it's leaving me behind. This life I live is only makes me wanna be lonely. I heard it from a homie, it's on me, so show me. You tryna get to know me. This fairy tale of mine, please don't leave me behind. I'm not one to hit tales, I'm not one to hit fables. Now I just wonder which tale you might tell at this table. Like how the girls' opinion passed, they passed the test on what you like the fact I'll be the exception. I call a cat, you tell me it's preference. How'd I get here? Wondering just how'd I get here? Did I fuck this over when I got here? I don't got this. I'm contemplating how'd I get here. Wondering just how'd I get here? Did I fuck this over when I got here? I don't got this. Now this life I live is only makes me wanna be lonely. I heard it from a homie, it's on me, so show me. You tryna get to know me. This fairy tale of mine, it's leaving me behind. This life I live is only makes me wanna be lonely. I heard it from a homie, it's on me, so show me. You tryna get to know me. This fairy tale of mine, please don't leave me behind. Now I'm not one to hit tales, I'm not one to hit fables. I just wonder which tale you might tell at this table.
So what's going on, y'all, man? We back at it again with another episode of the Audiobook series podcast where we create, conversate, and showcase art. We have a very special guest with us today. What's going on, HAJA?
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm gonna just let y'all know, man. So before we even got on air, she challenged me to a game of word association. I'm a competitor, so I don't say no to challenges.
I'm a winner, so I don't lose.
Cool. So we got my boy Shaji. Shout out Shaji. He's in the back, man. We're gonna get into everything once the podcast really get into the nitty gritty of all that, but that didn't even make sense. But yeah, man, we're gonna get into it, man. Word association. What's the first word you got for us, bro?
We're gonna start off easy. The first one, we got drunk.
Drunk in love.
You stole, bro. Nah. All right.
Drunk.
Cool. That's one.
Quicker than that.
All right.
All right. I took that one, huh?
Alright, next one, we got never.
What?
Never.
Never say never.
She killing me. She
I
up too.
never thought that
She up too. Okay.
Fire.
Alright.
Alright, next one, sick.
So sick of love songs.
Dog, I thought these weren't biased, bro.
Alright. Next one, we got falling.
If I keep on falling in and out of love with you, I never love someone the way that I love you.
Nah, these words crazy, bro. I ain't
Right?
gonna hold you back. I know you trying to help me out, bro. Like, I was getting cooked, bro.
Okay.
Alright, next one, we got crazy.
I'm so
Got
crazy
me
in
looking
love.
so crazy. That was a tie because I started. I did crazy in love. I just started from I'll let him have that. You want it?
2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, we both get the point.
All right.
You cheating. Next word, Salah.
I've been singing it all day, so obviously I'm gonna sing it. Okay.
You cheating, man. I said no.
All right, fine. No originals.
Alright, next one we got
Foreign.
Fun.
Fun. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me.
SpongeBob.
And it's for everyone. And it's for
SpongeBob.
It's a
SpongeBob?
song. Y'all said we got millions of views.
Alright, bro.
U is for you and me. Whose side are you on right now?
Yeah,
I feel a lot of hostility coming from the couch over there. All right, it's okay. So what's the next word?
Yes.
Next one again.
It's goo up again. Thugger it goo up again. Chasing that goo up again. I'm in love again. Yeah, what you know about slime season, man?
Not much.
Thugger. Right.
Alright, this last one, Jungle.
What's that song? Fuck from A Boogie. No, I'm saying I'm talking about that jungle dude. I should never even fuck with you. I was walking in the rain with my Tim's on, stepping over puddles full of pain. It's a big song.
She won.
I want my chocolate in king size, and you can just ship it to my address.
I got you.
I win. That was fun.
So for those who don't know who you are, man, introduce yourself.
So my name is HAJA. I go by HAJA. I'm 22. I live in DC now, and my new EP Tales is dropped. So you guys go give it a listen on Spotify and Apple Music. I'm originally from New York. That's why I knew Jungle by A Boogie, because you know the vibes. But yeah, I just graduated from GW, and I'm just happy to be here.
For sure, man. So let's get into that.
Okay.
You performed 2 songs. 2 seconds and tells.
2 seconds.
What inspired it?
So I remember my first song on my EP, Save My Tears. After writing that, I was like, oh, I definitely want to write an EP, because I just felt like I was going through a lot of like relationship dynamics with just friendships, men, family. And I was like, I want to just throw it all into like an EP for right now, how I'm feeling. And 2 seconds came. I think Tales 2 seconds came first. It was a fun song. And I was just like, you know what? He needs to text me back, and I need to write a song about it in
so
2 seconds.
You're pretty much saying that a man has a 2-second window to text you back. Let's clip.
I'm not saying it. I'm singing it. No. Okay, not 2 seconds. I'll give you like 4 seconds. That's fair, right?
It's fair. No, it's not. Actually, no, it's not. It's fairer than 2 seconds.
Okay, all right.
But
yes.
No, it's still insane.
But it's just, okay, yes, it may be a little crazy, but it's just like, just abstractly like text me back. So that's where 2 seconds came from. And Tales was originally, there's 2 versions of Tales. The first version I wrote it was dedicated to my best friend and him always looking out for me in relationships. And I changed the point of view. It's still dedicated to my my best friend, but it's just from a different narrative and different point of view. But yes, so Tales is from my friendship dynamic in a good way. So this isn't technically an all negative EP, but there's some positives in it, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
So would you say like, you know, all these experiences kind of like stem from your time in New York or GW, or kind of a mixture of both?
Oh, GW.
GW for sure. That was such a quick answer.
Just in college in general, GW for sure, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was fun. It was an experience.
You know, you said like, you know, they're both positive and negative, but when did you say like, okay, cool, I know this is gonna like, you know, translate into art? Like at what point in time were you at GW and you was like, yeah, like I'm gonna go ahead and just make Tales?
It was February. So I wrote Save My Tears in December, and February of this year.
So this is fresh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like in the early semester, and I was just like, I kept singing Save My Tears, and I'm like, you know what? I'm graduating. What's gonna be my graduation present to myself? And I was like, I'm gonna write an EP. And I was like, it's 4 songs. I've been writing for a very long time, so 4 songs wasn't like, I'd probably do that anyway in like a month or 2. So I was like, let me make an EP, let this be my first like musical original like debut. And yeah, so it just, February came, left, graduated, got the visuals, and EP's out.
So like, how are you able to like reoccur like, you know, all those experiences? Like, what is your process like, you know, thinking back on how certain things made you feel, certain conversations that you had? Do you journal, or like you had to like sit and reflect?
Well, I do sit and reflect, or most of the time when like someone says something to me and I like replay it over and over in my head, I'm like, I gotta get it out. Like, it's just like, why am I still thinking about this? Rather than standing in my room and talking to myself, because then I'll look crazy. I'm like,
There's nothing wrong with talking to
There's
yourself.
nothing wrong with talking to myself, but if you're gonna do it and I sing, you might as well sing it, you know?
Right.
So I was just like, okay, this is bothering me. Or like just instances and just different things that kept bothering me, and I'm just like, I need to get it out my head.
For sure. So it was more so like a itch that you had to scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, art is a very healthy way to like, you know, cure that, you know.
Right.
But let's talk about like, you know, some of the trials and tribulations that you've had, like actually creating the project. For those who don't know, I had the honor, myself as well as HAJA is also here and present. You know, I had the honor of working with HAJA for her EP. It's a great experience, but you know, let's get into that a little bit. Like, you know, let's talk about the actual creation and the craftsmanship of making Tales of Reality.
So it started off, I keep coming back to Save My Tears, because Save My Tears was it's the only like ballad that I co-produced, and like I did on the piano. So after that, I kind of just worked with another producer, Breezy, shout out to him, and he sent me over beats, and I was like, okay, I listened to a couple, and I'm like, okay, this one, I'm feeling like I can really explain this situation here. And so even when I got the beat, it was still new for me, like working with the beat first and then like writing my lyrics. So what I did was I heard the beat, found the chords, and I played it on the piano, and then I went from there. So most of this stuff started fresh of me recreating the beat on the piano and sitting down. And I really feel like the music kind of just comes out, the lyrics, the melodies come out better when I'm on the piano and I'm physically like doing the song. So
prior to like this project, that's typically how you create it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll start playing some chord progressions on the piano, and then words start popping up. How
And-
long have you been playing piano?
I self-taught myself in 9th grade.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm not nice. I'm not like a classically trained pianist, but I can get by.
For sure. And let's talk about that, like, you know, because I feel like anybody that can self-teach, you know, an instrument, like, you have to have some type of gift for music. You know, whether it be an ear or just like, you know, something that can't really be explained. Like, you know, what was that like, you know, teaching yourself how to play piano?
It was great. At least when I first learned, Redbone was the first song I learned at the piano. And
No, that's Terrified. Redbone, yeah.
I was like, that's
Shout out
not
to
them.
you know. But,
Yes,
yeah.
but that was the first song I learned, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was so like, it was liberating. Like, oh my gosh, I did it. I could play it on the piano. So some moments were tough than others, and even now when I'm trying to learn new stuff, it's hard. But once I get it, like that feeling just never goes away.
For sure.
And just being able to like, I just wanted to get what was up here like on the piano, because originally for like the longest, for years when I was songwriting, I just had the melody in my brain, and I would I'd have to like record myself singing to not forget it, and then just put the lyrics and did all that. But with the piano, I'm like, I'll have to just remember like the chords. So yeah, I've been doing it for a while, and it just feels very liberating knowing like, okay, I taught myself how to do it. All I need is a piano and my voice, and I can make something happen.
Right. Do you feel like you get that same feeling like when recording music, or is it like a little bit different for you?
It's a little bit different. I think like the piano always reminds me like no matter what happens where I'm at, whether I make it to some people's terms, like I always have my voice in the piano, what I can do.
Right.
Being in the studio though, creating it's a different experience. I completely love it. I can't be 3-4 different people on the piano when I'm singing, but like in the studio, I can add this harmony. I can be 3 different voices at once.
Right.
So like I love the experience of like hearing your finished product in the studio.
Right.
And you just be like, oh, that's what I did. It didn't even feel like it was
I
gonna
did
come
that.
out to me, right? So yeah,
For sure.
I love the experience for sure.
So dropping your first EP, I'm pretty sure, and I can attest to this as well. Like, you know, dropping my first piece of work was a very anxious time. Like, you know, it's like, okay, this is like my introduction into the world. People may know who I am, but like, you know, it's just you and the mic when in the studio. You can say whatever you want to the mic, and the mic is not going to judge back. But when putting that piece of work out into, the world, it's a little bit of anxiety that comes with it. Do you feel like you felt some of that leading up to the release of Tales, or?
The night of, I was like nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, people have been, because I've been writing for so long, and like I've just never put it out. So like I was nervous, but I felt like during this process, I was so excited. I don't think I was as anxious as I thought I'd be, because I just knew this is the right time. Because like before, my mother was that mom that was like, you need to perform everywhere you go so record labels could find you. So if we were in the laundromat, she'd be like, start singing. So I just knew from like a young age, I was like, the timing feels weird. So I felt like Tales, once I knew the timing was right, like the anxiety, I didn't feel as much anxiety. Like I knew, okay, this is what needs to happen right now.
For sure. So you knew the moment was going to come, like what it sounds like, since you were young, but you didn't know when the moment was going to come, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure. So what really sparked your interest in music? Was it like that feeling that you was telling me about when playing the piano and when finally figuring something out, or was it something else that kind of influenced like your interest in the music?
I've been writing since like I was in like third grade. Terrible songs, but I still have them. It was like listening to like Mariah Carey, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and I just remember being like, oh, I want to sound like Mariah Carey so badly, and just listening to them, trying to imitate them, thinking I sounded like them. I didn't sound like them, but just artists like that, like I just remember I used to watch so much live versions of their performances and just be like, oh my God, I want to do this so badly. Nice. So it was definitely like them for sure.
So would you say it's like, a highlight in your childhood where you went to like a concert or a particular song, like that kind of was like, yeah, like this is it for real?
Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. Never got to see it in concert, but that song specifically, it's so amazing. And like I'm not supporting Michael Jackson as a person. I know this is controversial, but as an artist, I know, right? I'm like, I want to get canceled. But I'm saying, as like an artist, like his songs like Billie Jean, Smooth Criminal, his visuals for it, like he's just a full round like artist. Like he just tells like he just tells stories in his songs. And I think I started off writing very like abstractly after like listening to Billie Jean, Smooth Criminal, because they're not very in your face, like this is what this means. It can be taken so many different ways. So
that's an interesting point that you brought up, because I have this debate with my roommates all the time about, not even a debate, it's more of a conversation. When you're like, putting together a piece, do you want it to be a think piece, or do you want it to be like, okay, this is something that somebody can receive and almost instantly get? Like, how do you kind of weave that out, like in your creative process? So
it was, I had to shift some of my songs a little bit, because there are like 2-3 different versions of a lot of the songs I have. And like I played it for my roommates and we had a conversation as well, shout out to y'all, but them telling me like, oh, you might want to make it more direct because it's a little too abstract, like what's going on in your brain, but like the audience might not. Right. And so like I've been writing very abstract because I've drawn my inspiration from Michael Jackson for so long. Right. So like trying to like shift gears a little bit, and still I feel like there's still like a beauty in like being abstract in your like words, because then when people finally listen to the rest of the songs, like, oh, that's what she meant, that's crazy. But then also like sometimes I can be a little too abstract where everyone's just like lost, and I'm like, no, but you don't know what's happening in my brain. So I think it's a balance, and I'm trying to find a balance of like what goes on in here but what's like perceived when I open my mouth. For sure. I can definitely resonate with that too. Like even like, some of the songs that like, I write or create, it's oftentimes like, revelations like, that exist within them. It's like, dang, I didn't know this is how I was like really feeling. But, another like experience that I've had when encountering somebody like about my art is like, oh, did you mean this? And I get to thinking like, dang, I may have. Like, have you ever had that experience? Whether it be like, the performance prior to releasing Tales or after the release? Yeah. So I've had, when the first version I played Tales, the actual song for my roommates, they were like, oh, this sounds really nice. And there's some parts that were like, oh, I get what you were saying there. And then like, they were like, but then you lost me. Then I got confused and I didn't know what you were talking about. So I even urge listeners to like, if you're going to listen abstractly, just keep an open mind, because just because you think you get it, you don't have to get it for the whole song, you know. Even if it's just that one part you got, stick with it. It's okay, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, it was the versions of Tales, and I haven't actually played much of my like actual original songs for other people that I wrote before. So we'll see how they receive it when I do one day.
That's a beautiful thing about art too, in my opinion. It's all up for interpretation. It's very subjective. Like even like, you know, when people like, you know, talk about, oh, who's the GOAT or who's the greatest in such and such generation, like it's all subjective. Like, you know, I believe that, you know, that is the ultimate superpower that exists within music. Like the fact that people can like, you know, take things and it means something to them personally based on like, you know, their testimony and their story. Yeah. And even just thinking about like, you know, some of your inspirations, like, you know, I'm pretty sure because you love music, obviously, but when did you have that moment, like, you know, where you was like, okay, cool, this song really hits the chord? You probably shed a couple of real nigga tears. Or,
like an original of mine or just like...
No, just period, like...
Well, for an original of mine where like I kind of teared up was actually the first time I started like playing my original songs for like my mentor at the time in New York. And I was always scared to like show people my art because I'm just like, oh, what if like, you know, they think it's trash and now I'm discouraged, but I like writing music. Right. And like I played it and like I just remember her and like my best friend were they were like, oh my gosh, you wrote this? And from then on it just grew my confidence a little by little as like I performed this and performed here, but I never let people know it was an original song. I just let them think it was like a cover to something.
Was this your very first performance? Or
oh no, I've been performing for a long time now, but like this is the first time when I've been like, I wrote it, rather than like just let people be like, oh, it's probably a cover. She always does covers.
For sure.
So like, yeah, just those moments in high school when like I was performing and my mentor would be like, wow, that's like really good. Like you should keep writing.
That's dope. That's real dope. Talk about your first performance. You've been performing for a while. If you can remember. Like, what was you feeling at the time?
My first performance. Because the minute my mom found out I could sing, all hell broke loose. Maybe like 4th grade and like a talent show. Mm-hmm. And then like I just did talent shows and like performances with family, but it was like a 4th grade talent show. I think maybe 5th grade. I did like Baby by Justin Bieber with like 3 other girls.
No comment.
And I thought I ate. I did my thing. It was 4th grade, yeah. So I did Baby by Justin Bieber, and I remember like I first auditioned for the talent show. My mom didn't know I auditioned. I came home and I was like, Mom, I auditioned for the talent show. She was like, you sing? I was like, yeah. And I bust out a little dance too when I was singing.
So your mom didn't even know you could sing before you auditioned for the talent show?
No. Wow. But then when she found out, I'm glad she found out because then she was just like, okay, everywhere you go, sing for me now, sing for me now. Oh, you need to work on this. Because she fake sings too. But, but like everywhere we went, she just made me sing. So like it's to the point where I hated performing anytime she asked me to sing, but it made me a little more comfortable performing in front of people now.
For sure. Do you think that's probably why like you were very protective of your art? Because I remember having a conversation. I don't know if you remember this conversation. It was at GW, and it was on the street by Funky. I was like, "Yo, when you gonna release music?"
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm just not ready yet." Do you think that kind of like attributed to it, like, you know, being, you know, so I don't know, like having a single demand like that, or
yeah,
okay.
I think it 100% influenced it, and I love my mom. So happy because I feel like she's gonna watch this and be like, oh, you talking shit. I'm not. But I just remember because she was always asking me to perform at some point, like I remember the end of high school, she made me like perform at my graduation party, and I was so embarrassed because it was like a random song she liked. And I just remember thinking, I was like, I'm never performing for my family ever again. Wow. And it was just because I was just so tired of it. Obviously, I'm still performing, and when I want to, I'll perform. But I feel like that's why I'm very protective, because for so long, I felt like I was always being told, you have to do this or you're not going to make it as a child star. Mm-hmm. And I just remember feeling like, oh, but I don't want to be a child star. But like, so now it's like, okay, I'm ready. This is my choice. I chose once I left high school, I no longer with my mom. She can't force me to sing. She can't force me to feel like I'm doing things too late. Right. So, yeah, I definitely feel like that stopped me, but made me protective of my art. Mm-hmm. And also made me realize like when I'm ready, I'm ready.
For sure. So how you gonna handle that? Like, you know, when business gets into it, you know, because artistry is a job. Like when you're doing it at a very high level, and deadlines are gonna have to be met. You know, expectations are gonna have to be satisfied. Like, how do you feel like, you know, as of right now, an independent artist that just released their first body of work, you know, when the lights get that bright, how do you feel like you would handle that?
I think like I'm very task oriented and like organized. So
sure.
deadlines don't really scare me. And I'm also to the point where I knew I wasn't ready during the high school time because vocally I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't ready to be on shows singing. I had no training, barely just singing out my ass, to be honest. But now it's like, okay, I can meet a deadline. I can do a performance because I built myself as a singer. Like I'm a singer now. I'm not some kid that may or may not hit the high note at the end. I can try, or I can finagle my way through it, but now I feel like, okay, if a deadline came, I can hit it because I'm enjoying doing it, not because I'm being forced to do it.
For sure.
Love you, Mom, because I know I'm about to get hell when she watches this.
Yeah, my bad, Mom. Especially pursuing a career as a musician, it's a lot of times where things just aren't going to look the way that you expect them to. How do you deal with failure?
I'm working on dealing with it better.
That's real.
Because I've been told I'm a perfectionist. I would just say like, I've been told I'm a perfectionist. But I think it's more of like, there's been so many covers on Instagram that I've done that I've deleted. Like I have like probably no covers right now on Instagram because I was like meh when I posted it, but I knew like if I'm meh about it, I'm gonna delete it later. So I'm like, if I release it,
how people feel about it.
Yeah, so I'm just like knowing me now and knowing that about myself. I'm like, when I put something out, I need to make sure I love it because I'm gonna take it down if I don't love it. So obviously that's not gonna work because there are times where there's gonna be failure, and I may do a live and not hit the note. We can't redo it. So I think like I'm working on not being so hard on myself and reminding myself that, you know, practice. I'm thinking vocally, like, you know, like messing up a song or something, and not being so hard on myself and breathing and knowing that I'm human.
Exactly. So my last question, kind of stemming from that before we like, you know, wrap things up. How do you sustain balance? Because with that, like, you know, having to tell yourself like, okay, you know, things are going to look the way that it is, but I know for a fact I want it to look a certain way. That can bring stress, you know.
Sorry.
How do you sustain balance in the midst of everything?
I think I give myself time. I think like that's, if I learned anything from this last EP, is if I do want it to be perfect and be up to how I want it, give myself time.
For sure.
Like, wait, it's okay. I think that with being if I'm gonna try to be a perfectionist, like he says, I just need to be patient then, because I may be trying to I'm trying to be a perfectionist in the speed of time, doing stuff. Like you've worked with me, I'm just like, hey, let's get it done. And like the first version of like Tales, like I recorded the entire session in a 12-hour session in New York. Like I went there and I was sick.
That's crazy.
So like I was like rubbing vapor rub while like I was like singing, and I did okay, but like I need to be patient and just like let time fix everything rather than me trying to fix it all the time.
Absolutely. Patience is a virtue, but I was about to quote Rick Rubin. You should also read this book. Not Shameless Plug, but Creative Act, The Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Amazing.
Okay.
You should read it. But
I definitely gotta get into it.
he was basically saying, like, you know, especially when it comes to patience, if you are hoping for tomorrow, you're just wishing that today ends faster. And, you know, kind of putting that perspective, like, you know, when it comes down to a project, when working through the details, it's like, I need to get it done. Like, you're blocking yourself away from, like, allowing the idea to come naturally and organically the way it's supposed to. So, patience is a virtue, but neither here or there.
Yes, I definitely got to give it a read.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. It's a great book, phenomenal read, easy read too. But is there anything else you want to tell the world?
Tune into my EP.
Yes.
It's great, and follow me on Instagram _HAJA_J. And I just want to thank you so much for first having me on this podcast.
Absolutely.
And for all your help, you too, Salah. Like y'all did y'all thing, and you guys made the process of getting into music so much easier and smoother. And like I just have so much love for y'all, for real.
Vice versa. I'm glad you're here. Glad you was able to shine your light on the audiobook series. That's a wrap. Part of the podcast, we grace each artist with a book from Creative Grounds EC. Please come here and shop too. Coffee's amazing. The reads are good. People are very, very nice and kind. Stop by. It's on North Capitol Street, Washington, D.C. But yes, Haja, if you want to pick a book.
Ooh, you gotta tell me twice.